not 5, not 4, and surely not 3, but 2 Minute Tuesday. Let's do this thing. Hey, what's going on guys? DeJesus here, and today we're talking all about midsole stitching and how you can easily change the color of it, because sometimes you have a project that you're working on and you're near the finish line and you realize that white blocky midsole just isn't cutting it for you, so you need to find a way to break things up a little bit. So today we're going to take something that looks like this and turn it into something that looks like this by just injecting a little bit of color into it. So now let's go ahead and throw 2 minutes on that clock and dive right in. But wait just one quick second, I have something incredibly exciting to share with you guys. The DCF Experience, our custom sneaker course, is finally returning next month, the weekend of April 22nd through the 24th. It's gonna be a 3-day course this time around here in Chicago. We've already booked the venue. It is going to be an absolute blast. We provide absolutely everything that you can need when it comes to customizing shoes, and I am so incredibly excited to start hosting these again. Only 15 spots will be available, so make sure you sign up for that newsletter that we're gonna have linked in the description, and that's where you'll have early access to registration and be able to stay up to date on all of the details. We plan on opening up those slots in the next week or two, so make sure you stay tuned for more info on that. But now let's go ahead and get back to this tutorial. So chances are, if you've ever thought about painting the midsole threading on a pair of Jordan 1s or Air Force 1s, you probably thought that it would go something like this, where you try to grab a nice detail brush and really just try to go thread by thread and work your way around the entire midsole. However, this is actually really hard to do regardless of how steady of a hand you might have, so here's the method that I use in order to do so. First, we're gonna begin by mixing our paint color with a little bit of 2 Soft at a 1-to-1 ratio. Now when it comes to applying this mixture, what I'm gonna do is grab a Q-tip, dip that in a little bit of acetone, and then I'm going to dip that Q-tip in our paint mixture and begin applying this onto our midsole stitching all the way around. You'll notice this is going to be a very watery mixture, so it's very nicely going to seep right into that stitching. Immediately after I've applied this mixture everywhere it needs to go, I'm then going to grab some additional Q-tips and begin wiping off some of that excess paint. And now in some of these close-ups, you can see that a lot of it's going to come off before anything even begins to dry. And here's what mine looks like after our first step of just wiping off some of the additional excess paint with a dry Q-tip. At this point, you might be wondering to yourself, what on earth did I just get myself into, and did I just completely destroy my entire project by listening to this guy and getting all of this paint that's now seeping into my midsole? Well, fear not, because the next step is actually where the magic happens for this process. After we've let this paint mixture settle into our stitching, give it about an hour or so of dry time, then we're gonna grab a bunch of additional Q-tips and begin dipping those into acetone. Now this is where we're gonna be able to get off a lot of that paint that almost seems like it's found a way to seep its way into our midsole. I tend to do this process by splitting it up into larger sections, beginning with the smaller area right above our midsole stitching, and then splitting that up into 3 to 6 inch chunks or so. I'll then repeat that same process for the area below the midsole stitching. Make sure to take your time with this process, give it a couple passovers, and please keep in mind, since we have acetone on these Q-tips, we want to make sure that these avoid ever touching any of our leather panels that are already painted on the uppers of our shoes. Depending on the color that you're using and how dark it is, since we're working up against a white midsole, this is usually going to take somewhere around 3 passes to really remove all of that excess paint that's seeped into our midsole. And with a little bit of patience and some elbow grease, we'll be able to restore this midsole again back to a nice bright white. How'd we do on time on this one? Well, yeah, I guess that's pretty standard for us when it comes to these. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Please go ahead and drop a like on it if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more tutorials like this in the future. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter if you'd like to stay up to date on all things when it comes to our custom sneaker course, the DCF Experience. I am just so beyond excited to finally bring it back, guys. This is such a passion project of mine, and to be able to help others grow within this industry truly brings me so much joy nowadays. So I'm really looking forward to be able to meet a bunch of you guys in the very near future. But until then, I'm DeJesus, and now everybody get out there and just create.